Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of November 25th through December 1st of 2024. All right, so this week we have Mercury retrograde right on the beginning of the week on Monday. So the next 3 weeks, really good for reworking, rethinking, and perhaps putting some things on the back burner, although it is always, I think, very good to experiment and try different things during the retrograde, as we do tend to learn a lot. It is just really good to be flexible during this time, and this early part of the week, we could notice some things starting to shift that we can go back and redo or rethink about during the retrograde. We have the Sun trining Mars midweek, which is a little bit of support from the more fiery elements of life. They are going to be in water signs, though. We still have the Sun in Scorpio. Still good to be viewing things on a deeper level. That Mercury retrograde is in a fucus, which is really good for healing right now. And that Mars is in Cancer, which is about connecting more to our emotional values. But there's a nice support here to maybe assert ourselves, be a bit proactive with more of these personally oriented things right now. But perhaps the most important thing about the week is that we are starting a new moon, a new lunar cycle that's going to be at the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. And so as we do approach the weekend, it is really good to close things out, finalize things from this month, and start to get ready for some of these new beginnings. Again, they will be in the water energy of Scorpio in this case. And so starting to plant some new seeds around what's really important to us on a deeper level, our emotional values and our deeper values of life. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, November 25th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. You won't see mainstream using the visible sky, unfortunately, and that's because they aren't using it. So if you do notice, the sign placements are different. Like I'm saying, the new moon is in Scorpio instead of Sagittarius, for example. Definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so let's do a quick recap. There's no sign changes this week, but we've had some sign changes last week and the prior weeks. So as I said, it is the Scorpio season now. The sun has entered Scorpio since late last week. Still really good to be focused on that deeper dimension of life. And again, that's where we're going to have the new beginnings with the new moon on the weekend. Now, Mercury is starting to go retrograde coming into the week, pretty much stationed, paused in the sky, and really close to the galactic center, actually. So the middle of the Milky Way is about right here, about 2 degrees at the end of a fucus. And so it's almost like Mercury was ready for transformation. Our minds are ready for transformation. Our daily lives are ready for transformation. Our communications are ready for transformation. But astrologically, there's a little bit of a reworking that needs to be done first. And so over the next 3 weeks, how can we maybe go back into this world, go back into the healing world, go back into the deeper world, go into the deeper values of our life, maybe reconnect with deeper communication. So not only thinking about things in a way that's more deeply meaningful to us and life, and perhaps feeling a bit healed with that also, but also communicating that as well. And so the next few weeks, really good for more flexibility, more experimenting when it comes to these deeper values, when it comes to even things like healing, which is very much what a fucus is about. And then after Mercury goes direct again and passes over that galactic center, which will be towards the end of next month into the new year, then we can finalize that transformation process. So a little bit of, let's say, work to do there in the deeper world, in the healing world, when it comes to Mercury. Mercury, the planet of our minds, of our communications, and some of that day-to-day life there. Venus is already transformed. She's done her transformation earlier this month. And so when it comes to enjoying things, I think it's great to enjoy a bit of a free-spirited energy still this week, as it already has been. A bit of adventurousness, a bit of open-mindedness, a bit of that free spirit is certainly great to be enjoyed. Venus is about our enjoyments and our connections to life. And this can, of course, be also connections in relationships. So enjoying a bit of that expansive energy in our one-on-one world as well. Mars is still very well set in Cancer. So Mars, our more fiery side, in a water sign of protective Cancer. And so it's been good and will continue to be good this week for asserting ourselves in a way that is protective of ourselves and protective for those close to us, and also our intrinsic values as well. So certainly that water energy involved here this week with the Scorpio and Cancer combination, with a little bit of that fire with Venus, the connections and enjoyments of life. So as I said, Mercury retrograde is right at the beginning of the week on Monday, Tuesday, depending on where you are in the world. Things really slowing down when it comes to how we're thinking about things and whatever's being involved on a day-to-day level. It is good both Monday and Tuesday to literally pause with matters. It could be our work, it could be our transportation, it could be our correspondences, the things we've been doing, thinking about, just actively involved with on a daily level for at least the past few months during this retrograde season. This phase of where Mercury is helping us now rework. We have Mercury retrograde about 3 times a year, and so whenever he does go retrograde, it's almost a time to go back and reflect on the previous 3 or 4 months of activity. So good to pause with things, good to create a little bit of space in that day-to-day life, and get ready to, again, be willing to rework, rethink, be flexible, and really just learn a lot, as we can learn a lot during those retrogrades. Again, certainly in the world of that Ophiuchus, the healer, the redeemer. How can we redeem these deeper aspects of ourselves and of life that can help us heal, transform, and of course accomplish our day-to-day activities and our correspondences, our communications, how we think about things, etc. Mercury is a very important planet just after the sun and moon in terms of importance astrologically, rules a lot of what you could say the glue of life. Everything that is held together, we could say, is Mercury. The short distance travel, the communication, the synapses in the brain, anything that's about exchanging, connecting, the to and fro, the interconnection of duality is ruled by Mercury. And so this is really the domain of what we're really talking about here. Now, the moon will be in Virgo for pretty much the whole week until the weekend, until Friday. So the theme is this work week really about improvement and refinement. We've had a lot of Virgo energy these previous months with the with 2 lunar cycles here recently. And so great to reconnect with that, creating structure in our day-to-day life, striving towards improvement, striving towards refinement. Again, as I always say with Virgo, a great way of expressing that is through personal development and focusing on what we have control over, which is fundamentally ourselves during this time. So great time for that kind of structural energy there, improvement-oriented energy there for pretty much this whole early to middle part of the week. Now, once we do get to midweek around Wednesday, the sun will be trining Mars, which is quite nice to see some of the more yang planets in harmony. So even though a lot of this is happening in, again, the water signs, there is that support between the expressive sun and the assertive Mars. And so we could be feeling quite assertive, maybe quite proactive middle part of the week. And again, hopefully it's towards what's important to us emotionally, personally, and on a deeper level when we talk about the placements with the sun in Scorpio and Mars in Cancer there. And this will, of course, be part of the new moon. Having the new moon trining Mars is also supportive for the next lunar month coming up here. Also midweek, on a minor note, speaking of healing, Venus will be squaring up to Chiron. So if there's any area that you do want to challenge yourself with healing, I think a great area would be with those relationships, and would be with just simply what you want to connect to in life, those enjoyments, right? Because sometimes things like connecting to nature can be very healing and therapeutic during a time like this. It's the healthy connection to life and a healthy way of enjoying life, the real natural beauty, the natural essences of life. And of course, this is always what facilitates healing anyways, as Venus rules Taurus, which is opposite what Chiron rules, which is Ophiuchus. And so in order to do the healing and stuff, it's always important to be grounded. And I think Venus can be a reminder of this, helping us connect to the natural world, helping us connect to our bodies, our physical selves, self-reliance, self-worth, and of course those relationships as well can facilitate that. It will take that intention with the square, but it can be extremely constructive to do so. Okay, then as we start to get closer to that weekend, we are ending the lunar month. So like I said, letting the energies die down, completing things from the previous month, and creating space for those new beginnings. So Friday and Saturday, depending on where you are in the world, will be the new moon. And again, it will be in the constellation of Scorpio. So new beginnings for the month in the context of that deeper world, really connecting to our deeper values. So personally, deep diving within ourselves, and externally, things like trust, intimacy, things like this can be coming up to the forefront. Where can we put healthy trust? Scorpio, the Scorpion, is about creating healthy boundaries and making sure that when we are trusting or building deeper relationships, that it's of course appropriate and with the right people and right situations. So great time to really connect to what really matters to us in life this month. A great time to really uncover things in life in order to get to that point. So it's typically really good for things like research, deep diving, the esoteric, the occult, of course, healing as well, psychology, anything that helps us, uncover. But then to, work with it, especially as the sun will get closer to a fucus this month, to actually work with this deeper world. And one of the great ways of doing that is also externally, as this part of the sky does deal a lot with relationships. And like I said, more of the interdependent energies of relationships. So how can we rely on others a little more emotionally this month, I think is great. And how can we also rely on others maybe materially as well a little bit? Again, healthy interdependency. We want to avoid any kind of codependency or any over or under extremes with that, which can be themes that come up during Scorpio kind of energy. But we definitely want to do that constructively, right? So healthy reliance, healthy interreliance, healthy interdependency as well. So these are major themes coming up here. Again, we have the support from Mars giving us a bit of that active, assertive energy supporting it. But the most important aspect with the new moon will be that it's forming a T-square. It's forming a T-square between Jupiter and Saturn. So it's going to be opposite Jupiter. Jupiter will remind us here, of course, about that earthy energy, the importance of grounding during a deep time like this. In order to heal, we need to connect to nature. In order to rely on others healthfully, we have to rely on ourselves healthfully, have good self-worth, self-value, things like this. And so that's always important there. But Jupiter can really give us some insights there about the more grounding energies of that deeper scorpionic new moon. Squaring up to Saturn is a reminder that things do take time. And so I would say this new moon is great to be patient and persevere, especially with anything involving future stuff with Aquarius. The future, the world, collective stuff, these things might feel a little restricted during this month, but seeing the long road, being patient and persevering is what Saturn's really helping us do during this new moon. And setting that intention to do so can be fantastic. All right, so that's the week in a nutshell. We start that new moon, give it some time, plant those new seeds over the weekend, see what comes up, let the energy organically develop, but also set those intentions for the month. And I think you'll find that this is a great segue into early next week. By early next week, Mercury will be full on retrograde, reflecting, redoing, and we'll just slowly be building momentum here in this new lunar cycle. All right, so just a quick recap here. Mercury station paused Monday, Tuesday. Let's see what shifts. Let's see what can be reworked. And let's see if we can be more flexible in our lives for these next few weeks and have more of that willingness to learn in any area where that's appropriate. In a fucus, it's all about the deeper worlds. And so healing, deep diving and all that, especially with the new moon, of course, already being in Scorpio, places those main themes, not only for this week, but really for the whole new lunar cycle that starts Saturday, Sunday. I've been pointing over here. It's over here. Saturday and Sunday is the new moon. So letting the month close out, finalize things, complete as we approach the weekend, and then planting those seeds for those new beginnings. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for the live stream. We're going to be going live here in just a few hours after this upload, where we'll go into a lot of this in more detail, answer a lot of the community questions, and it's just a great way to engage with others who are also into true sidereal as well and start to form more of a cohesive community. So do stay tuned for that. It's on YouTube. But have a great one, everyone, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.